finished. But these in-depth meanings of the Quran will go on. So that is the highest level of understanding and contemplation of Quranic verses has been termed Tadabbur bil Quran, which means reflecting and pondering over every word deeply in order to deduce the philosophy and the wisdom of the holy book. In this sense, the Holy Quran is the most difficult of books, as it is not easy to attain the depth of its meaning. So you just remember two levels. One is Tadakkur bil Quran, another one is Tadabbur bil Quran. So once again, as a reminder, we go through the translation of this surah by time. Indeed, all human beings are in loss, except those who have achieved faith, have performed righteous deeds, and have emphasized to each other the teaching of truth and the value of patience, perseverance, and constancy. Now we do the little bit analysis, like Tadabbur bil Quran, the analysis of this translation. The first verse, that is, begins with Wal Asr. Wow, Arabic is used in different meaning. For your curiosity, just I show you this word only. That is all this word. This is this word. It has two different meanings. Commonly used meaning, one that is we call and. Like we say this and that. Then this word is used, wow. But another word, this is used for oath. When we take oath of something, we pledge something, we say by God. Then this word is also used when we take an oath. Here, Wal Asr, it's referring not to and, the meaning of and, but here it's referring to the meaning of oath. We are taking oath. We undertake this, premise that Wal Asr, by the token of time. Actually, Allah doesn't need to take the oath or the pledge for this, but to emphasize on the message that is after this verse. Wal Asr, when we take oath, means the rest of the thing that comes after this, they are very important. So that's why this is put Wal Asr. And then the message comes next. And the second verse describes a general rule. What is that general rule? That all the people are in total loss. All human beings are in total loss. This is true. And the third verse describes an exception from that general rule. First one is an oath. The second verse is a general rule that all the human beings, the whole mankind is in total loss, destruction, devastation. And the third one is an exceptional case from that. But for that exceptional case, we have to be put together all these things, and then it becomes a just single statement. That is, Allah, by taking the oath of this time, He says, all the people, all the human beings are in total loss, but except those people who have faith, righteous deeds, and mutual, they convey the message of this truth to each other, and in response, if they have to face some hardships or difficulties, then they steadfast, then they remain patient, and they show their constancy. And now we look at the criteria of in this worldly affairs and in the life hereafter. We have the different criteria for different things. In this world, people have this criteria for success and failure. They think if they have the wealth, if they have the money, they are successful. If they have a property, and if they have a property on the island side, then they are both successful. Status. You say, what is your status? They say, how highly paid job you are doing, and what is your political affiliation or your political status. Are you in the highest position, or your rank is low? So this is the criteria in this world for people. Generally, we actually take it as a measurement to judge the people. How house is big that you live in, how is the money you get as a salary, and how is your status. So this is the criteria. And if somebody is very famous, if you will get any fame, then this is also another criteria. And then if you hold this political power, you might be the head of the state, chief executive, or any other position, governor of any state, then you see this is the criteria of success. But the Quranic criteria of success isn't based on these things. It's this. And that is the base of this surah. Illa allazina amanu. That's an exceptional case, and actually that is the criteria. Illa allazina amanu. The first criteria is faith. The second one is good deeds. Third one, exhortation of this truth. And the fourth one is exhortation to patience. Actually, we need to change our criteria of success and failure. If we utter from our mouth these words, okay, that is the criteria for this worldly affair, and that this criteria that I have mentioned. To say from mouth is very easy. I can say, you can say, it's very simple. Just few words, just 4 things. Uttering from the mouth, just lip service, it's very easy to say. But to act upon on these 4 things, this is the real task ahead. And once again, I just recall in my mind another verse from the Persian language. He says that, Chumi goyam ke musalmanam balarzam ke danam mushkalate la ilara. It means, he says that when I say that I am a Muslim, so then my all body shakes. Because I know ke danam mushkalate la ilara. He says, I know that the difficulties that are lies ahead after I utter these words is very difficult, those things that I have to follow. So before you utter these words, not only it should be a lip service, but it should compliance with your heart. And that is why in Muslim traditions, when the children goes to the Islamic institutions, they are taught 2 kind of imans, that is called Iman Mufassil and Iman Mujmal. The one is just the utterance of the words from your mouth, from our mouth, from every Muslim child, that he utters those words. Amantu, it goes like this. Amantu billahi kama huwa bi asma'ihi wa sifatihi wa qabiltu jami'a ahkamihi iqrarun bil lisani wa tasdeequn bil qalb. And if you see the first, Amantu billahi wa malaikatihi wa kutubihi wa rusulihi wal yawmil akhir wal qadri khairihi wa sharrihi min Allah ta'ala wal ba'si ba'dal maut. So these 2 imans, these 2 beliefs, we say, I believe in Allah, His messengers, His holy books, the destiny, the right and good is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the day and the life after death. All these things you say from your mouth. This is one part of the iman that is called one is Iman Mufassil, another one is Iman Mujmal. The first is that you just get the details of all the beliefs, things that is contained inside. That is belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His holy books, His messengers, the life after death, and the destiny, the right and the good things, and the bad things is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But this second one is very important. When you say, Amantu billahi kama huwa bi asma'ihi wa sifatihi wa qabiltu jami'a ahkamihi iqrarun bil lisani wa tasdeequn bil qalb. That what I have mentioned from my mouth, all those kind of beliefs with all His holy names and all the characteristics that Allah possesses, and I agree and I testify, iqrarun bil lisan. uttering from my mouth, wa tasdeequm bil qalb, and I testify from this bottom of my heart. So here mentioning is the same belief. It's not just the words. Even a non-Muslim movie star can say these words in a movie. You might have seen that some of the movies, the actor who is actually in his real life is not a Muslim, but he is performing prayer. He is saying the base of the belief that is kalima. He says kalima. He copy as Muslims do, and then pray. Everything does, but it's just like a dialogue in the movie, but nothing else. His real life has nothing to do with these things. So same in reality. If we just utter these words and it doesn't affect in our real life, then it's just a lip service. In English there is another saying, an ounce of practical example is better than millions of preachments. If you say a lot of words, if you maybe give a lecture and sermons day and night, hours and hours, millions of your books have been published, and the lecture you have given is recorded in how many hundred hours or minutes, but it does not any compliance to your real life, then just all lip service. So that here referring is to the real message, and that is yaqeen qalbi. That means that belief should come from the core of your heart, the bottom of your heart. It should testify. And how can you testify? Then you have to put in practice. That is the deeds. If you follow any belief, any idea, then your actions should be in compliance with that idea or that philosophy that you have in your mind. That is why when the companions of the Holy Prophet, they understood the real message. That's why in the beginning some people they didn't accept Islam, because they were Arabs. They know the real message and they know the actual meaning contained inside that. That is why in the Quran it says when the Holy Prophet invited them to the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just simple words. Qulu la ilaha illallah tuflih. O people, if you say there is no God but Allah, you will be the victorious, then you will be the successful people. Just say la ilaha illallah, very easy. But the meaning of la ilaha illallah and put into your real life, in your practical life, and follow the instructions and the commandments of the Allah and His Messenger is very difficult. That is the real task. The companions of the Holy Prophet, what they have learned, they have put into practice in their lives. Some of the companions, they said that they have spent years on learning the Surah Al-Baqarah. This is only one chapter. But why they spent so many years on learning this one surah? They were Arabs. They know the language. They don't need to consult any dictionary to get the meaning. The reason is that whatsoever they have read, they have recited, they have learned, and then that portion they put into their life, and in accordance with the teaching of the Quran, they reformed their life. It reflects their behavior, their character, their day and nights change, their whole business terms and conditions change. If we have we see something on the surface in this world, a very short time, a very limited kind of success. But if we really want to have a success in the life hereafter, then this criteria of success and failure should be changed, and we should strive forward for the real success. And these four things that I have mentioned, faith, righteous deeds, exhortation of truth, and exhortation to patience, these four things. This is not if we do one out of these four, that is sufficient. No. All these four things, actually they are the components of one thing. They are indispensable. They are inseparable. They are part and parcel of each other. Like if a doctor prescribes a medicine for your sickness or your ailment, your physical, you visit the doctor and doctor prescribes some medicine for you, and you come back to home and you with your own wisdom, you apply your own wisdom and you say, okay, there are 4 tablets, so I skip 3 tablets and I eat only 1 tablet, that is sufficient. It's not like that. Then your health or your ailment wouldn't be recovered, because the doctor knows all these 4 things that he has prescribed are essential part of each other. So it's indispensable. They are the part and parcel of each other. So these 4 things must, and this is the logical sequence. If you believe in something, then you follow according to that belief. And if you preach and if you convey this message, what you have think it is good for me, to the others, it's logical. And if you say these words, the people are spending another life, of course, they will object. They will, in the initial stage, you have to face the verbal prosecution. People will say some bad words about you. Maybe people will abuse you. They will call bad names for you. This is the verbal. But the stage will come, that might come. They will physically, torture you. But if you believe really in this faith, then all these hardships you face, you stand fast, you show the patience. Because your criteria of success is not in this world, is in the life hereafter. But now in this, the recent or the current situation of the Muslims, the prevailing situation is that we are inactive. Inactivity in whole of our life process. Stagnation, escapism, sloth. We want just very simple things, and no need to have that kind of things that are mentioned in the whole Holy Quran. But the Quran says, "Udkhulu fi silmi kafa." Enter in this deen, in this religion, not partially, but as a whole. Like chemistry, we say it's an organic whole. It's one thing. It doesn't mean that something that suits you from the Holy Quran or from the life of the Prophet Muhammad you follow. But those messages that is not, you think, is compatible to your life, and you have to change your lifestyle, and then you have to, in accordance with the teaching of Quran. No, you want that your desires should be in compliance with your, no, it's not like that. Your desires, your wishes, all of your lifestyle should be in accordance with the life of the Prophet Muhammad and the teaching of the Holy Quran. So, udkhulu fi silmi kafa. Enter in this religion, Islam, as a total, as a whole, not partially. Then, if partially, then it's like hypocrites. Hypocrite actually is a word from Arabic words that is called munafiq. And munafiq word is derived from noon, fa and kaf. That is called nafaka. In Hong Kong there are many tunnels. You might have seen there are many tunnels. So the literal meaning of the munafiq, the nafaka, the word, its root letter is a tunnel. Because tunnel had 2 mouths. You enter from this side and you exit from another side. So you see this way is easy, so you adopt this, another one you leave. It has two phases. It's 2 mouths, like that means it has 2 behaviors. But a Muslim, he remains patient and steadfast under all circumstances. The hardships and the difficulties wherever. What we need is that we have to be affirmation and declaration of truth. Righteous deed is essential for our salvation. That is why I have given the name salvation in the light of Surah Al-Asr. And we invite other people to the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not invite to any organization, not invite to any personality, not invite to a particular thing, but to the religion of God. To religion that is Islam. In Quran it says, وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ قَوْلًا مِمَّنْ دَعَا إِلَى اللَّهِ وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا وَقَالَ إِنَّنِي مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. From that person who has the good things can be the good thing that he who calls the people or invite the people, da'a ilallah, towards Allah. He who calls the people to the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا. Not only he calls the people or invites the people to the way of Allah, but he himself follow the teachings of that truth, of that guidance, that is Al-Qur'an and the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad. وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا. And he himself does the good deeds, righteous deeds. وَقَالَ إِنَّنِي مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. And he says that I am among the Muslims, mean I am among the followers, those people who are the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He doesn't have any other significance than the Muslim. His name is also mentioned, that is Muslim. And the name of the religion is also mentioned, not any other religion. Islam is not a mazhab, it's a deen. That is why the word is used, deen, not mazhab, in the entire Holy Quran. The Holy Prophet, when they performing his, the last, Hajj, and then these verses were revealed at that time. Al-Yawma akmaltu lakum deenakum wa atmamtu alaykum ni'mati wa raditu lakum al-Islam ad-deena. Al-Yawm means today, this day. Allah says, I have perfected, I have completed. Akmaltu lakum deenakum. For you, my religion, deen. Wa raditu lakum al-Islam wa atmamtu alaykum ni'mati. And I have completed my blessing and grace on you. وَرَدِيتُ لَكُمُ الْإِسْلَامَ دِينًا. And I have chosen this Islam as a religion for you. So the name of the follower is Muslim, and the name of his religion is Islam. So this is the only identification. Islam is the religion. Religion cannot actually totally convey the meaning of deen in Arabic. And the follower of this religion is called Muslim. And the fourth thing is that remaining steadfast in the face of hardships and difficulties and obstacles and calamities for the sake of the truth that we believe in. So what is the rational or logical sequence in these four components? That is one simple sentence: be a man of principle. If you say something, then you have to show according to that what you say. Otherwise, you are not a courteous man. You are a coward. Eloquence with categorical emphasis. That is the beauty of this surah, of this chapter. That it's not very long, but very concise, very comprehensive. But the message of the whole Quran of the Holy Book is inside. And then what's the real meaning of Al-Asr that we started from this surah, Al-Asr? It's not only a time actually. It is the period that passes very quickly, very fast, swift. To understand time, how it passes very quickly, you take an example of a person who is sitting on a roadside and he is selling the ice. If we buy a block of ice in the morning, and at the end of the day when the sun is going to be set, and he says that the money that I have invested to buy this block of ice is melting. My whole capital that I have invested is melting, is slipping from my hands. Maybe at the end of the day, even I cannot get back the principal capital that I have invested to buy this ice. So he wants to sell it at any cost. So this time that in which we are living is just like that. Every minute, every moment of our life is reaching us towards our death. Whenever you say it's his birthday, actually though whatever his age is, 60 years, 50 years, 70 years, actually those years are being deducted from his total life. So we are going nearer and nearer to our destination. So this time, that is why the word put in the beginning of this surah to emphasize on the swiftness, the quickness of this time, wal asr. And the word asr, it also is the sweep of time. It's swift flow, very fast, very speedy. And it's just not mean the patches of time, but it continues. It's a serial time. And the word wow is a preposition that I have mentioned in the starting, in the beginning. It's used as an oath. Wal asr. Allah doesn't need, but to emphasize on the importance, the message that is contained. To put emphasize, that is put the oath as a testimony. And wal asr is the swift passage of time through the ages, bears witness, and provides evidence for the statements that follow. And that is the statement, Illa allazina amanu wa amilus salihat. And it says, wal asr innal insana lafi khusr. This is everybody knows that all of us, we are in a total loss, devastation, total destruction. If you ask anybody who has a wealth, property, money, but if you look into his real life, the miseries, the worries, the difficulties, the problems that he is facing in his life, we, the people who have not that much money, just layman, we cannot imagine. In their private lives, there are so many miseries in their lives that we cannot imagine. And there is one writer, I just recall one of the story. His name was Muhammad Hussain, the writer of that. He said, if all the problems and the worries of the world, because I think that this brother is in a well-to-do life, and I might think that he is spending a very poor life. He said, this is not fair. He might be very happy, but I am sad. He said, if we were given a chance that all the happiness and the worries of all the peoples were put together in a compound and make like a huge heap of that, all the worries, problems, happiness, everything put together. And then once again, we distribute or we divide equally from that heap of worries and happiness and the sorrows of life to everyone once again. Then everyone will think that what I have before was better than this. Now what we have, Allah has, distributed among us, then he will think what I had before, that was better than this, that I have got after the equal division from this worries and happiness of life. And to make it more elaborate, he says, if we were able to exchange our worries and happiness to each other, maybe he thinks the president of any country or the head of the state or chief executive is the most happy person maybe in that particular area. If we were given the chance, if we could exchange that, I can take his happiness and he can take my happiness, and I can take his sorrow of life and I can transfer my sorrows of life to him. And after the exchange, even after the exchange, he will think that the condition in which I had before this exchange, that was better than this. Because the man, the heading of the story of this was, the man never remains happy in any of the conditions. So this is the human psychology. The Quranic word, Innal insana lafi khusr. Khusran is terms not just only the loss of the money, the loss of the capital or the worth of the property, or your stock exchange shares are down. No. This is not a loss in the terms of the Quran. Not the monetary loss, not only in terms of wealth, but it's a total loss. Not only a few $100,000, but indicates a complete destruction, devastation or loss. It means that the second verse really shows that whole mankind is in total loss, or on the verge of the destruction. So there can be two stages. The first is that everyone had to work hard for the struggle of his survival and undertake a very hard work and labor from 9 to 5, routine life, but we are unable to provide the very basic necessities of our life for our dependents. And for those people, even prosperous people have to work hard to maintain their status. Human being is like a beast of burden, a creature of feelings and emotions, mental hardships, mental stress, strain, anxiety, This is the real facts of our human psychology. And we have love for our children. That is very true, very natural. And trouble faced by our relatives, if some of our relatives and their kith and kins, if they are involved in some problem, we are affected, because we have a very strong connection in between our relatives. Grief and sorrow of death of some loved one, if someone passes away from our family, of course we feel the grief of his death. And if all these things that I have mentioned, if you want to take one example in the history, and that is the life of Buddha, you can see the story of the Buddha, and then you will see that he was the prince. But when he saw the miseries of life in different stages, I don't want to go to the detail of that story, I just mention it. You might know already. Or you can go to the book to learn about the detailed story of the life of Buddha, and then you will see. And then he went away from his house, and then he, in the search of truth, or in the search of peace of mind, he left all those, the wealthy status of the royal style of his life. He gave up, and then he went in the search of truth. The first stage that Quran mentions, verily we have created man in toil and struggle. Everybody who has come in this world has to struggle, has to strive, and to put all his efforts. This is very natural, and it's true. And Quran says, وَأَلَّيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ إِلَّا مَا سَعَى. وَأَلَّيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ. And the man cannot get, and is the same as for him that what he does the struggle. Allah is just, is very fair. He gives someone according to his efforts, that what he strive for. He has struggled for something, you have studied hard, you will get good marks in the exam. وَأَلَّيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ إِلَّا مَا سَعَى. Verily, we have created man in toil and struggle and hardships. And the second stage is, the doom of the worst type is that is the manifest in the life hereafter. This is actually we have to emphasize. The Yawmul Akhirah, the life after death. And that is the life hereafter. If we are conscious, if we are aware, if we keep this in mind, that the accountability or our responsibility in the life hereafter. Allah says, verily, O man, thou art ever toiling on towards thy Lord, painfully toiling, but thou shalt meet. We have to meet someday to our Lord. Now it's up to us how we prepare before we meet our Lord. The Lord of the Lords, the Lord of the whole universe, the Master of the Day of Judgment. And one of the saying of the Holy Prophet is, كُلُّكُمْ رَاعٍ وَكُلُّكُمْ مَسْئُولٌ عَنْ رَعِيَّتِهِ. Amongst you, everybody is a shepherd. Shepherd is a person who, take care of the animals, of the sheep, goats, whatsoever, and he remains them in order, in discipline, and take care of their, feed them, their fodder, care for their fodder, give them the water and the grass, everything. Because he is responsible for that. And every Rai means every shepherd, means that every that responsible person has to be accountable for what he is assigned. Maybe the teacher is assigned to properly teach with his utmost effort to his students. The doctor is assigned to give a relief to the patient.